Okay, Albert Lee, Algebra 2 class, 8th hour. I want you guys to take out this worksheet that you have. Make sure that your name is at the top. And what we want to do today is, again, work on linear regression and correlation. And so as we work through this, I want you guys to understand a couple things. Take some time to read this section about independent and dependent variables. That's extremely important that we label them appropriately. You are familiar with correlation coefficients, the R value, which we want to label. You're also familiar with the term of a best fit line. And what we would like to do is we would like to, number one, identify which variables are dependent and independent. We would also like to enter our independent variables into L1, our dependent variables into L2, and then we need to calculate the correlation coefficient and the equation for the best fit line. So those are the things that we need to do to be able to make this happen. Now, I'm going to run through with you on this first example, try to see if we can come up with the same exact numbers that everybody else does, and we'll see what happens here. So this is really practice using your calculator. The first thing that we want to do is identify the dependent and independent variables. And so we're going to look here at monthly mortgage and monthly income, and we want to identify which is which. Well, you ask yourself, which one causes the other? Monthly mortgages is how much that you pay for your house. So are you going to decide how much you pay for your house based on how much you make? Or based on your mortgage, will that then decide what kind of job you'll go get? Well, for most people, their monthly income is their independent variable, their X value, and their monthly mortgage is their Y value. And what that means is that the income, monthly income, dictates what you can afford to spend on your monthly mortgage. If your monthly income is very low, then your mortgage, you're not going to be able to buy as big of a house. So again, X is going to be the independent variable. Monthly mortgage is going to be the dependent variable. So once we have them properly labeled, I'm going to put the independent one, that's my X value, I'm going to put that into L1, and I'm going to put the dependent variable, which is my Y value, into L2. So now let's practice actually punching those into our calculator. If you take out your calculator, you'll remember that a few things that we need to do to get started. First of all, if you go into y equals, we could clear it, make sure that everything is turned off in there. You can move up and down, make sure everything's gone. That way we don't have any confusion about what's happening. Our plots, remember you could turn those on and off. We're going to leave them off for right now, okay? And so here we are. You want to go into stat, and when you're in stat, you press enter on edit to edit a list. Now, if you have some entries in there and you want to clear it, remember you can go to the top, press clear, and enter, and it will clear it for you. Now, I don't have any entries in there right now. I'm going to start typing them in. And note that I have to type my monthly income. So 1,200, enter. And by the way, you guys, if you're not trying this, make sure you're doing it with me. Otherwise, you're going to get confused when you actually take out your calculator and you do it on your own, okay? So 1,200, 1,540, 1,925, 2,030, 2750, 3270, and 4230. So those are my entries for L1. For L2, looks like it starts out at 560, 780, 900, 1,200, 1,340, 1,500, 1,830, There we go. Now we have the full list there. We have the full list all separated, ready to go. Note that it is very important that when you make these entries that you pair them up accordingly. So 900 and 1925 have to be across from each other. So as you can see, 900 and 1925 are right across from each other. That order does matter. And then the way that we calculate our information is we hit stat, calculate, and number 4. Number 4 is our linear regression line. We hit enter and it's going to produce some information. Y equals AX plus B. That is our prediction equation, or our line of best fit. That is the line that best represents the data. And we're going to be able to use that later on. So it looks like we have 0.4 for A and 178 for B. That's not what I have matched up here. Maybe I made a mistake. I guess I'll clarify that today. So 0.4 and 178. So we would have y equals 0.4x plus 178. If you remember, our wide value was our mortgage. So mortgage equals 0.4 times our x value is our income. So I'm going to write income plus 178. That's important. Now, it doesn't match up with what we have here. When I made the worksheet, I must have made a mistake. Maybe I put mortgage in for X and income in for Y. That's maybe what I did. So we got to be careful. We also want to check the R value. Now, I don't have an R value displayed here. If you remember to find your R value, if you haven't turned your diagnostics on yet, you need to. If I go second catalog and I press D for diagnostics and I go down to the bottom, and I select diagnostic on, turn it on. Now my diagnostics are on. So if I go stat, calculate number 4, linear regression again, I will get, now my R value pops up. It's a value of 0.97. So the last thing I can write is R equals 0.97. So you can see that the information matches up. I must have made a mistake here when I generated the worksheet. That's okay. It looks like the correct answer is right here. And I write it in terms of mortgage and income. That way it makes sense. If I want to know the mortgage that I can handle, I would take 0.4 times my income and add 178 to it. R value is 0.97. That's a pretty high value. That means that there's a strong relationship between your income and the amount you can spend on your mortgage. If you look at the problems, 1 as follows, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way through, that those follow very similar to what we just did. I want you to find the independent and dependent variables, equation of best fit, and the R value. Good luck. You can watch the video again if you need help.